welcome to the stage Coal Miner.
I love sticking stuff up my butt. And I always have, ever since I was a kid. But before I could be labeled a professional butt stuffer, I was 18 and I just moved up to Traverse City, Michigan. Right there. Yeah. I knew there'd be people out there. So I had a roommate. He was an older gay guy, and I was living in his house while I went to community college up there. And one night, I took my favorite toy down to the bathtub, and I was gonna play with it, you know? My favorite toy at that time was only 8 inches. It was pretty girthy. It was made out of rubber, and it had a square base like that. Now, just like every other night before, I was pretty rough with myself. And I started pushing it, and then pushing it some more, and I pushed it, and then eventually I pushed the entire thing inside of me, including the base. Imagine square peg, round hole situation. Yeah, and then the hole got smaller and smaller. Immediately I was like, uh-oh. I knew this stuff could happen. I never thought it would happen. You see, I had this aunt who, or I have an aunt, who is a nurse, and she would always tell me these stories about how people would come into the ER, and they would be just screaming and crying about things that they put up their butt, or other places, right? And they couldn't get it out. And I thought to myself, that is so silly. Like, that would never happen to me, because I'm smart. Well, as this was before the time that I could actually fist myself and get it out myself, I thought, I'm gonna need some assistance. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to call 911. Well, I wanted to be respectful of my roommate, and I was very quiet. I went back up into my room, and I put on some clothes, and I came downstairs, and I thought to myself, wow, this is gonna suck. Like, everything from here on out is just gonna be just a bullshit scenario. But like any good Michigander, I put myself to the test and I said, 1, 2, 3, this is how it goes, let's do it. I called 911 and I said, hi, I have something stuck inside my butt. They said, what's your name? So I told them my name, and I told them, my age, where I lived. They asked me things like, when's the last time did you eat? And have you had any alcohol or drugs? And I said, no, I'm good. And then I said, I could just drive, right? Like, I could just drive myself. I can't walk, that's for sure. But they assured me that if I left that place at that time, that something would, rupture something inside of me and I could definitely die. And I was like, all right. So, so I said, okay, well, that's fine. But hey, if you send the ambulance, make sure not to have the lights or the sirens going. Because I don't want to, bother the neighbors in Traverse City. They got enough going on. They don't. They really don't, you guys. So I didn't want to bother anybody, and especially my roommate. And then she said, that's fine. And I said, and I'm going to go wait outside. She was like, no, don't do that. And I was like, well, I'm going to. I don't want to cause a commotion. She's like, all right, fine. So I go outside and I'm waiting in the dark, and then all of a sudden I see the ambulance roll up, and I'm so thankful that they don't have any lights or the sirens on. And I walk up to the paramedic and I'm like, hi, I'm Cole. I have something stuck inside of me. You guys, I'm not making this up. This is exactly how this happened. And she's like, okay, well, are you uncomfortable at all? Is there any discomfort? And I was like, no, I'm fine, actually. She's like, okay. Well, they put me in the back of the ambulance, and they put me laying on my side, and I've got a blanket over top of me, and they're taking my vitals and asking me questions, and, I'm answering them. And then they arrive. Do you guys ever notice how hot firemen are? Like, all of them, right? All of them. Okay. So they roll up, and I'm like, oh, God, no. Like, there's 1,000 other things they could be doing, but they're here. They're here. I see two of them get out, and one of them's getting into the cab with us, and he's asking the paramedic, hey, so what's the situation? Well, we have a young gentleman here who's got an object in his asshole. I was like, well, and he's, and by the way, everybody's being super cool. Like the paramedics, the firemen, everybody's real cool. The guy goes, hey, how you doing, buddy? And I'm like, I'm good. You guys can go. You're good. I'm sorry I'm bothering you. Because they were so cute. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, like any other time, I'm like, hey. So they leave, and we start going down the road, and we're driving down the road, and there were some bumps in the road that started to like loosen stuff up, and I was like, hey, I could probably just push this out right now. And they were like, no, you could do a lot of damage. Like, you could rip it, like, all the way. And I was like, well, this is where I was like, hey, this isn't my first go around, like, on a dildo. Like, I thought I knew what I was doing. And I was, like, honestly telling him, okay, look, I've put bigger things up there, and I do this a lot, and this is the first time anything's gotten stuck up there. True, absolutely true. And he was just like, no, you could really hurt yourself. And I was like, well, all right, you're the professional. So we get to the ER, and they roll me down into one of the back areas where I'm all by myself. And I'm just laying there for a while, and every once in a while, a nurse will come in and kind of check on me, check my temperature, or check, my vitals and see what's going on. And eventually, like I start feeling, like, not good. Apparently, like, it's moving around inside of me, and it's starting to cause a lot of cramping. And I'm starting to think, God, I could just, like, fart or something, or poop or something. But, like, no one's really coming in to tell me not to do those things. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. So I'm just, it's starting to get really uncomfortable. Now, I really want to tell you guys, everybody was really nice and really, really understanding. Until this one nurse came in. And I was just, rolling around. I was trying to figure out which way was better. And she was just like, you're not supposed to stick stuff up there anyway. And I was like, number one, you're wrong. I mean, right? And number two, there I was. I was scared at that point. And I was vulnerable, and I was uncomfortable. And this woman came in and said something so inappropriate to me at that time of my need. So I told her to leave. And a little bit later, a doctor showed up, and he was like, all right, so we're gonna put you under anesthesia, and then we're gonna dilate your asshole, and then we're gonna pull out the toy, and then we're gonna send you on your way. And that's pretty much what happened. They put me under, and then I woke up in a wheelchair with my clothes on, and they were wheeling me out of the hospital into a taxi cab, and apparently they'd given them my address because that's where I went. And I stumbled out of the car because I was so foggy from the anesthesia. And I got into my house, and I was still pretty quiet because it was still morning. And I went up to my room, and I went to bed. Now, the worst part of this whole story is they kept the fucking dildo. Now, I did go out, and I did buy a much bigger one with a much bigger base, okay? The best part of the story is when I told my aunt. Because she told me she was so proud of me for staying so calm through all of that. So, thank you so much.